Hey everyone, welcome to the 2014 European Challenger Series, brought to you thanks in part to our friends at Coca-Cola. I'm David Freak-Turley, alongside me is Aiden Zyrene Moon. How's it going?
It's going pretty well, man. Ready for these semifinals to start kicking off.
Yeah, beginning of the week, 4 semis in 4 days. Can you handle it? We can. Hopefully everyone's going to be okay. We're now in the Summer 2 semifinals. Today's featured matchup is the #1 seed H2K Gaming and the 5th seed SK Gaming Prime.
Yeah, H2K Gaming won it all in Summer 1, and they are still looking very strong here in Summer 2. They dominated GG Call Nash in their quarterfinal matchup, and they're once again the favorites here today. But SK Gaming Prime does have a shot at an upset thanks to their new addition in the jungle.
Exactly. So former jungler Broken Shard left the team to join Copenhagen Wolves in the LCS last week, but he was replaced by Kikis, who stepped up big time in the quarterfinals with a 9.0 KDA. However, SKP aren't the only team making changes, as H2K will be bringing in a former Fnatic and Super Hot Crew support, We Will Failer, today to try to secure the wins.
Yeah, not only do the two teams have new additions in common, but they also share impressive records in Summer 1 and 2. H2K is 8-1, and SK Gaming Prime is 6-2. But both of SKP's losses came at the hands of H2K in the Summer 1 quarterfinals, which ended their run.
So we're going to see if they can get revenge here. So if SKP is going to do that, they're going to need Kikis to get AD carry Z's going like he did last week against Forever Zenzik. Kikis had a 20 KDA last week.
Yeah, and if they can repeat that performance today, SKP will end up with the better record and advance to the finals when it's all said and done.
And of course, here is the road to the finals has been set as teams have been cruising on. After sweeping their opponents in the quarterfinals, H2K and SK Prime are facing off in the first semifinal match of the day. The winner will advance to the Summer 2 finals in Cologne, Germany, in front of a live studio audience.
There's a ton of rematches here from Summer Series 1, and we will learn the second squad in the finals tomorrow when two more dominant teams go head-to-head for the second time. It's Ocelot's Gamers 2 and Alex Each's Ninjas in Pajamas.
And in the Challenger Series, whenever you win, you're going to get some points at the end of Summer 2. The teams with the 6 highest point totals will qualify for the playoffs. As of right now, 5 teams have already clinched a spot.
H2K Gaming, Ninjas in Pajamas, Gamers 2, SK Gaming Prime, and Loveland Shore have all secured their entry. Now they're aiming for higher seeds. Meanwhile, Playing Ducks and Unicorns of Love will face off in a tiebreaker match to determine who will have that 6th and final spot.
And the top 2 teams as well earn a first-round bye. H2K has actually already secured one of those. The other bye is actually going to go to tomorrow's winner between, of course, Ninjas in Pajamas and Gamers 2. So to keep up on all the Challenger action leading into the playoffs, head over to lolesports.com.
Under the Leagues and Tournaments tabs, you'll find schedules, scores, and everything else you need to follow the Challenger Series and the LCS for the rest of the 2014 season.
So we're just about ready to go into Champ Select here. H2K Gaming, SK Gaming Prime running up in the lobby. As we talked about, H2K, they are definitely a favorite. Of course, they won last time around. They 2-0'd them in the quarterfinals back in Summer 1. And you got to figure this is still a team that's looking to keep playing strong.
Yeah, but here's a little caveat. Back on July 15th, about a week ago, they played each other in an outside tournament, and SK Gaming Prime came out 2-0 with some little unorthodox picks in the mid lane. We saw an Akali and a Xerath come out for them wins. That's kind of like last week where Xerath was just coming back, and everybody's like, oh my god, maybe this week it's Zillion.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting great things here from the mid lane.
Yeah, I do want to see, what else Watt Fox can kind of do here. He's been a really interesting player where he seems to have a very varied pool and varied styles of champions. But we want to talk about some of the other important players here as well. Talked about a little bit in the pregame. SKP's AD carry Z's 9.29 KDA, right? Great scoreline overall. Really great AD carry.
Yeah, and the 20 KDA in the last game that they played, he's usually the person that carries the game. And back in the day, Z's Was Alive was the name of the team named after him for very good reason. He hardly ever dies, and when he does, it spells disaster for the team. So there's a lot of focus that can be put on him, especially with the hypercarry meta.
Actually, interesting stat. In every game that SKP has lost, Z's has died.
That's true.
Yeah.
No longer alive.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a team that wasn't the case.
No.
But still true in this case. Other guy for H2K, I want to talk about their jungler, Trashy there. He's been pretty big, 8-2 and 24 overall, but he's up against the new jungler for SK Prime and Kikis.
Yeah, and if you've been watching Challenger Series at all, both these guys' names will ring a bell. H2K Trashy is a phenomenal player. He's a very force-oriented jungler, very early game. He forces things. He just tries to make objectives happen, try to make kills happen very early on, and he'd be punished for them. Because Kikis, on the other hand, capitalizes on people's mistakes. Trashy forces a lot of things, and they can be mistakes, but they usually come out on top with superior laning and skill off the back of it. So if Kikis is in the right place at the right time and takes advantage of Trashy's playstyle, it could be the way in for SKP.
Yeah, and that is actually kind of the interesting test for a team like H2K is throughout the entire history of that team, and you mentioned the fact that these forces work because their lanes are stronger. When you make a team where your like number one strength is we're just better than our opponents individually, you develop a lot of habits where you expect lanes to win. And the farther you go on to a tournament and the tougher teams you face, the less likely that is, and forcing things can get capitalized, as you talked about. So if SKP can stand the test of individual player skill, I think they can actually definitely catch some of these, I guess, overstepping of bounds in this game.
Yeah, because H2K has that lineup where it's like, oh, we got Odwamna, we got Fabevin, we got a ton of veterans from Challenger Series 1 and from Spring who made it all the way on Cloud9 Eclipse to the finals and almost had an LCS spot here for a lot of these guys. But I do want to bring it back to somebody who was in the LCS with We Will Failer replacing AOD today. And We Will Failer's coming on, and when he was on the Super Hot crew, he wasn't a huge force to be reckoned with. Is he going to be one of those people that you can transfer into the challenger scene? He's just a god, and he's going to make his way back to the LCS.
Sure, and you got to kind of assume that happens to a certain extent. This is a team that unfortunately failed their promotion tournament last time around, so you figure, the teams that are in the LCS definitely extremely strong, and we're going to see what he can do. The random stat for We Will Failure was 5-5 with Super Hot Crew, a team that has gone 8-5 since switching to Kasing. So there was arguably a slight upgrade when they dropped him, but we'll have to see, though, what kind of synergy he makes here. We see a lot of teams actually continue to churn through supports to find the right mix for their bot lane.
Yeah, there's a lot of priority on just making the AD carry shine instead of replacing the AD carry. People are like, let's just swap out the support. Let's just get some new tires on that baby and see if it'll just run better. So that's kind of the whole mentality going into this, because there are all-star AD carries all throughout the LCS, and then you're kind of like, all right, 10th best AD carry, still a damn good player.
Yeah.
Like you got Hjarnan, you got Z's. These people, they carry games regularly, solo queue all the way to challenger.
Yeah.
And it's like get him inside of a team, and you're like, all right, how does our synergy work with a support? Is that support going to be as aggressive as me? Is he going to cover my weak spots? Is he going to play safe so that I can play aggressive? It's just back and forth. How do you work with that one person in your lane?
Absolutely. We're going to have to see what these guys can do with their team comps, though. Lee Sin, Xerath, Syndra, all removed away from SK Prime, Kassadin, Orianna, and Aurelia away from H2K, and that means Gragas going to be grabbed right away from Odwamna in the top lane, though interestingly, Lulu's still up. And we see interesting sort of champion priorities based on regions. For example, we had the SKT versus Samsung White matchup where Lulu was first picked 3 out of the 4 games. And spoiler alert, it was a couple days ago, hopefully that counts for you guys. But it's interesting to see which ones are and aren't very important based on the team. Yeah,
and the regions do have a lot to say about that, like you said. People are like, all right, we're going to pick Lulu first, because even if you get behind in lane, you're still a force to be reckoned with in team fights.
Right.
Gragas gets behind, it's kind of like, okay, your whole lane bully gimmick is done.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really do or contribute as much as a Lulu does when he shows up.
Right, and I'm also pretty underwhelmed with the tank Gragas builds we're seeing. I feel like the Lich Bane first build is the optimal build there, but I'll have to see what kind of Gragas we get from Odwamna here. Looks like we're going to have Braum and the Jarvan picked up there for Kikis. And interestingly, we've seen a really big departure from the old top 3 really recently. We had the SHC versus SK matchup just a couple minutes ago. And you had champions like Lee Sin, Elise, Evelyn all up, and these guys are saying, no, we actually really want the Jarvan as the new top dog jungler.
Yeah, he's really good at forcing things, forcing flashes on ganks very early, making a repeat gank that's hard to get out of. His cooldown's very low. Yeah. And also, he's unlike an Elise, where if you miss the cocoon, if you EQ in, you're still next to the person. You're still going to get some damage off, and you're going to be able to slow them and possibly force a flash that way.
Yeah, and actually, there's so many fun tricks you can do with him as well. I like the flash shield. Just for the slow, you're like, I flash red buff you, and it's like, I'll EQ once you flash.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like there's a lot of really cool combos for the really good Jarvans out there. So we'll see what else these guys can do with their team comp. Yasuo's still available in case it's going to be up there. 2 knockups already in the team. Trashy going to grab Rengar right off the bat, though, and Thresh coming out for We Will Failure. So H2K not rushing a mid lane pick or an AD carry here. It's very interesting that they're basically trading equal lane picks.
Yeah, they're kind of going parity with each other, just back and forth. And another thing on the Jarvan point from Kikis, though, is that the 2 times we have seen Trashy so far in this series, he's played Jarvan. So taking that away from him and putting it on you as a very early priority forces him onto Rengar for this. Yeah. And it does kind of fit Trashy's style, and you can't really invade a Rengar. If you go to his bushes, he can buy so much time. He can just play you very easily. So you can't really invade, and it's not going to play into Kikis' hands in terms of invasions.
that could be all kinds of interesting then. Yeah, so What the Fox going to lock in the Rise for his team right here. Have to see if that goes mid or top lane with these ones, but also the Ezreal coming through for Z's, and then right off the bat a Kog'Maw. So again, very strange. No AD carries banned away, but Ezreal ends up being the first one grabbed up.
Yeah, the Ezreal pick, it's a little strange. We've seen some of it from Vasily in North America. He hasn't really made a huge resurgence, but I guess 4.12, now you can E into your
E into the W.
So now you're good. Give yourself a little bit more attack speed. I don't actually think that's the reason. I just think he thinks he's the premier lane bully now that Lucian is gone, for at least he's disabled right now. Kog'Maw is going to be the pickup there. And I actually love the Twisted Fate being locked in because I thought that's what SK Gaming was going to pick. And you take that away, you take that option away from them. So I think that's a top lane Rise for Smitty because he's played it before and it doesn't sound like a What the Fox champion.
Yeah, it's unlikely, but I mean, we'll see. This guy plays. I mean, he played Akali a couple weeks ago. I wouldn't consider Akali the standard champion either. So, I mean, I know he plays it, so I guess you could say, oh, it's in his pool, whatever. But you can always be surprised, right? That's always the thing I look at in this one. I never like to be completely sure of it, but I think you're right. That's the most likely situation. Have to see what else gets picked up. The Syndra, the Xerath banned away anyway, so he doesn't get as many of those burst mages if he wants them. H2K basically are really well set up to just protect Hjarnan. They've got so many ways to make plays early on, thresh Rengar ganks, and then get whatever they want the rest of the way. And will that be Riven? It is Riven! So Smitty, his top play champion solo queue is Riven.
And they just had to make one swap there.
Yep.
They basically picked an order aside from that. Got Smitty a matchup in the top lane between Riven and Gragas. Now that's a matchup that we don't see very often.
Basically
at all.
Never.
At all. You never see that matchup.
No.
I mean, if they swap Riven over to jungle, I'll be like, he's taking lessons from Shook. But
top Jarvan also not a matchup we see much.
I know, I don't think so. It's a very strange matchup there because Gragas usually has an edge in it, but Riven's very aggressive early on.
Yeah, the cool thing about Riven here is, so yeah, she can dance around his cooldowns pretty easily. Gragas can't get away in any meaningful capacity. Also, Riven can dodge the barrels, right? It's actually very easy to time their damage as well, so her shield is likely to actually block damage every single time. And then again, she's also pretty much immune to movement speed slows, because pretty much all of her mobility is based on her actual active effects, not so much walking around back and forth. So I can really see why Riven would work well here. And you got to consider Smitty, again, a big Riven main, because Gragas has caught on so heavily in League of Legends. You know he's gotten plenty of time to practice the matchup, and I trust he's completely confident this is the matchup that works for him.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of experience in solo queue with that.
Right. So you got to come in with trust. Now, we've seen, actually, for what it's worth, counterpicks fail.
Yeah.
We saw, for example, Evil Geniuses were convinced that Aurelia would beat this Nidalee as a counterpick back in NALCS last week. That one actually was turned around on them. It didn't work against Dignitas, but maybe it'll get corrected here, and the Riven matchup is actually very good against Gragas.
But the matchup in the mid lane of the TF versus Rise, and What the Fox actually taking Cleanse, too. So you can get a little bit of a counter there. I actually like that, because if he gets ganked by Trashy, you can cleanse out of the Bola. You can go ahead and make it so that the next CC is reduced as well. So there's a lot of good things in that Summoner spell for What the Fox. Of course, he's not going to have the teleport for the global Rise pressure, which is something that a lot of people go for, but he's in mid lane. So he's a little centralized and closer to where you would normally be as Rise.
Yeah, and one thing I actually really do like, especially about the fact that he's running Cleanse, is the cooldown is so much shorter than on Flash by a couple of minutes here. And so he can kind of get ganked once, burn Cleanse, get ganked again, burn Flash, and by the time the third gank comes in, he's got Cleanse back. Yeah. So I feel like it's actually really hard to set Rise down there, and TF is such a low pressure laner otherwise. I think What the Fox could be very well set up for farming for quite a while. Smitty uses dash, put a ward down to watch invades. They see H2K now. Flag toss comes down. And we have pretty similar invades right here. Both teams know that the other team got wards on their own red buff.
So they have that knowledge of one another. Just thinking about the Ezreal pick more, it is going to work out in terms of getting ganked by a Rengar. You have a lot of mobility in his kit. He can get away from those, and the fact that Lucian wasn't available, I'm pretty sure that would have been his higher priority because he has played Lucian 3 out of the 4 times we've seen him this series, and he just likes those lane bully champions and tries to dominate the mid game. Another thing here is I want to talk about both the team comps, because SKP has more of team fighting.
We will fail her. We will fail her. Walks right into it. Does not get a Q out for a really long time. Zaitan just waited That was the easiest bite in the world. That would have been a stun, and he just didn't cast it.
It's going to be one of his potions there. He's actually going to be in pretty good shape considering he wasn't the AD carry, so he's not going to be as zoned. He's going to try to use his charges of his Relic Shield as fast as possible for a little bit more HP. And now he's all good.
And we're seeing the teams just push down minions as fast as possible, trying to get themselves the level 2. Looks like we have a small lead to SK Prime there, and you're seeing actually Mystic shots are coming through and dealing a bit of damage as well. You can see another one just tagging We Will Fail It there.
Very aggressive bottom lane, rushing for that level 2, and whoever gets it first will have a big advantage in this lane.
Look how much mana Aziz is using just to try to push the minions in. They're trying so aggressively on both sides, but
one more.
It's real close. There's level 2. Does he go for Arcane Shift? He does have it. There's the Q on in. The big damage. They're forced to flash away. Ignite is on. Ooh, first in the Summoner heal. 1 minion away from level 2. But SKP got the engage.
Gets a flash and a Summoner heal there. All the mana used from Z's comes up really big there because he gets Summoner spells in return.
2 Summoners for 1 right there. And it's going to be the Threshold. He forced a recall back. Picked up some extra wards for himself. So there won't be easy ganks for Kikis down there. But it does mean Cog's stuck in a 1v2.
Kikis, he's going for the invade here, trying to use the power of Jarvan in the early game. They know where he is though, and Febevin.
That's just good smart play by H2K. They have the ward in the right spot, knowing Jarvan started topside because of their ward coverage. They saw him down in this. They knew he'd be on the southern side of the map around 3 minutes, and they got their trinket ward already set up to watch the gank path. Just, it's not flashy, but it's exactly the right play by H2K. That's one of the really good things about an early ward is it just lets you ward properly at 3 minutes.
Oh man, this top lane, back and forth. The fighting, long sword, 3 potions for Smitty. Making sure he has that early sustain. Odwamna, the built-in sustain, 4% maximum HP every 8 seconds.
Yeah. The difficulty though is Odwamna still has a potion, whereas Smitty is out of pots right now, so he's going to be...
But he's got Kikis. Stuck up there.
Maybe. Odwamna has flash though. I feel like it should be, with very few exceptions, easy to get away from a flag toss combo. Stun comes in there, tries to bait in the all-in, but doesn't do it. Odwamna, too smart to get baited into that fight.
Trashy is on the top side of the map, though. Saving his ferocity, so he's looking for a gank soon. No, he's just going to go for the clear. Nope. Actually, no, he is looking for the gank. There we go. Saving the Frosty, holding on to it.
Yep.
Walking around.
Trashy going to make his way towards the mid lane. Has a nice pink ward right there.
Oh, does he see? Nope, he's not seen by the ward.
Gets away from the trinket ward in the mid lane. Another trinket to watch Jarvan's jungle route, and he takes the long way around to get to the top lane. Smitty does not know about this whatsoever. The Jarvan just left. Odwamna starting the fight now. Here comes Trashy. Now, can they flash the Bola? Flashes early. The flash Bola is going to land, and first blood goes into Odwamna.
There's a minion right there, too. The flash Bola. Huge, huge luck, I would say, off the back of that. The minion is right in front of him.
Absolutely perfect there, and H2K get first blood for themselves. Top is going to push out. Hook's going to land on Aziz. Not a happy place to be in, but Zayatan going to go ahead and say, hey, this shield's going to block your damage. They'll stay okay.
A little bit of a turnaround here in the bottom lane in terms of aggression. Will Failure going back, but staying safe. Hopefully throwing him a lantern. There we go.
All right, and life is still okay. A 5 CS lead in this bot lane. Summoners coming back up fairly soon. You're seeing them about 3/4 of the way back up there in the bot lane. Watch the Peppervin, last 100 turrets. Not too difficult for TF. Gonna do okay in this one. So yeah, bot lane holding fairly close to equal. We're seeing him trade blows a lot more now. So Kjarn then. There we go, good lantern. We will feel like keeping him safe, but they still going for this one. Actually, one shot from the stun. Ignite came back up. Kjarn has to flash, but he might be burning down. Yes, it is the kill picked up by Zayatan. Ziz gets away just safely. Actually disengages early to not get caught by Kog'Maw. Beautiful.
Febivin has the ultimate, but just looking for the pink ward. Cover his route when he goes down bottom next time. I actually wanted to talk about that. The team comp from H2K is more pick-oriented than anything else. They have the Rengar, who's actually camping top right now and trying to shut down this Riven, because he has been giving Odwamna a hard time in the top lane. Just look at the CS. He's 10 behind this early on in this matchup, and he's going for the Rod of Ages route. If Odwamna can get to that item faster, his ramp up, he hits his power spike sooner, a lot sooner, because it's time-oriented as opposed to goal-oriented.
Also worth
wants it early.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's going to be all kinds of scary pretty soon. It's also worth pointing out, you mentioned the minion deficit. Part of the reason there is the fact that he walked back to lane whereas Smitty teleported back in. So Odwamna has about 3 minutes of teleport advantage if these guys want to go for Dragon by about the 9.5 minute mark there. And I want to see if H2K actually uses that, or if Adwamna kept his TP up for no reason.
He does have an advantage here over Smitty in terms of life. So Smitty doesn't want to risk it and move forward.
And here's the real test as well, is Riven does not have very good fallback patterns.
Yes.
When she's behind, you can generally just keep bullying her, and life is really difficult. And so it's basically, how much is H2K bully? Does Kikis risk ganking a losing lane? And risk getting counter gank and getting even farther behind? Or does it become an island where Adwamna is really risk averse, but so is Kikis?
Whoever ganks top next. There's the ultimates here from Adwamna. Ooh,
wow, the dodge
he's gonna try to turn
pop
around.
he's gonna want this one. Slow comes in, can't chase any farther. Febiven pops the ulti anyway. Gold card hits. Wild cards follow the dash. The shield comes up in time. Febiven, one more attack. The stack deck comes in. He gets the kill. Nice use of the ghost. And there you go. Assist goes top lane.
Camping Smitty in the top lane. No advantage taken from that because it's the top laner and jungler just goes mid, so you can't get a dragon off of this play.
Wow, but it was just such a beautiful play overall, though. He ghosted to get in range in the first place, Febiven, right there, and used all his summoners, but hey, got another kill for his team. Still a minute on Smitty's cooldown for teleport, which means a full another wave or so just crashes into this turret and gets denied. Very bad for the SKP top lane.
Yeah, no, Adwamna actually gets a CS advantage through all of that. The fact that there was no TP, Smitty has to walk back. He's going to miss even more.
There's a second wave crashing in right now. It got cleared out. And Riven realized, yep, can't go for double golems, got to go to my turret. And so we have a 900 gold lead now for H2K. Let's see what else we can get right here. The bottom lane is working for Z's here. Didn't even need Kikis to do it. Just the fact that he went for the Ezreal pick has worked out. It doesn't mean anything in minions, but the kill gold still does mean quite a bit.
Yep. Visit to the bottom lane by Kikis, standing on a pink ward, trying to get the lane gank. He knows there's no flash, and he has Cataclysm, so if he can get Yarnan and we will fail in the same one, it'll be tough though.
Flash Lantern.
Lanterned out. Exactly.
Yeah.
He will blow a summoner spell though.
He's getting pretty close to in range. Zaitan has ulti as well. There's ways to even counteract the Lantern if you can knock him up in time. I'm surprised Yarnan hasn't. Okay, there.
Oh, he's getting both.
We will fail it.
Yep.
There's the flash wave. There's the Lantern, and there we go.
Yep.
Exactly as we expected.
Yep.
There you go. I was actually surprised though that Hjarnan didn't just say, "Hey, you know what? Let's just ult in front of that brush. Maybe he's there." I don't know how often you should check as Kog'Maw. Like you can doing that, but
yeah, that's.
I feel like once a wave, like I would check.
That's the thing. Smitty versus Adwamna. Again, we've seen this before.
Ulti pops in by Riven, just immediately explosive cast says, "Get away from me! I don't want your wind slash." Oh, body slam dodges away. But Adwamna has plenty of mana right now, so whiffing spells doesn't really matter to him.
Now, also, when he has a level up, he'll just get a huge burst of life.
Mm-hmm.
Catalyst is going to help him out a bunch on top of his happy hour. Smitty. Oh.
Drinks, but of course you just can't chase Riven down. Smitty very hard to chase without some kind of jungle or mid lane intervention, but Adwamna can keep pushing up to his turret. Kikis can keep maybe looking for a gank, and in fact his ward coverage is good enough. The wards are... Oh! He tossed the flag too short. He didn't get over the wall.
Is he going to try to Q to the same one again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now he's out of mana. He can't gank anymore.
Yep.
That is very unfortunate.
A little too close.
A little too close. I do, however, I was talking about the ward coverage of SK Prime. The wards are far enough down in the river that they'll spot a Rengar stealth. He can still lane gank, and that is extremely hard to ward against. But I also don't know if they really want to keep camping this top lane. Crash is going to look for the mid lane instead.
Bevin.
What the Fox sees it. Rune Prison. Gold card does not get locked up until he gets to flash out. Bevin didn't want to betray the gank, but he was too slow to help.
He pops his ghost, but of course, it's the flash cleanse flash actually that got him out of that, so What the Fox was fine. There is an ultimate available for Febiven though. So he can get his roam on pretty easily.
And so far he's been 1 for 1 on his ulti ganks. They have turned into kills every single time. There is an aggressive ward deep in the lane that will spot which way Febiven tries to roam.
Yeah, you would go top on this one because you want Adwamna to back and get that Rod of Ages.
The ulti looks for Smitty. Flash forced. Ulti for flash. And again, no teleport for Riven once again. Odwamna has not TP'd yet this game that I can recall. And he still has that if they want to get Dragon. If they can finally get a lead bot lane, that would be a Dragon for H2K.
SKP is actually going to go straight for this Dragon, though. Kick is in the vicinity. Trashy hidden back, so there's no smite around. And no TF ulti to close this distance.
Wheel Failure tosses out a hook, not going to mean very much. And SKP, very clean pickup Dragon for themselves. Kickus didn't even have smite up. They just realized everyone was gone. So beautiful stuff there. SK Prime back within 400 gold here. Their bot lane is winning. They've turned that into a Dragon.
And the item buys, too, were actually pretty big in that. The Phage
yeah.
versus the Doran's Blade and Boots. For Bevan, he's going to go roam right over a pink ward.
He's going to know it's there, but he really wants his kill onto Riven. Smitty should be able to easily back up in this one, though. And he sees... Yep. Oh. He didn't kill the ward.
Nope. Blue's too important.
Okay. That's understandable. Ganking top was one of them. Blue buff was one of them. And now getting back in the mid lane for the minions is one of them. Vivivin going to get knocked up into the air. They watch the box. Oh, good flash by Vivivin getting away from Rise. But it's a flash for an ulti, just like last time.
Yep. That's definitely worth it in Jarvan's case, for sure. The cooldowns are, of course, much lower, just like Twisted Fate's ultimate. Next time you gank the same person, not going to have the flash.
That's the difficulty, actually, is we're not even seeing that so much. Jarvan has not been back to bot lane, and We Will Failur's flash is basically back up right now. And in fact, Yarnet has all his summoners now as well. So Kickus, we said he was an opportunist, much more than a forcer, but I feel like he's almost not forcing enough.
And Trashy's doing the opposite of his style, too. He's just trying to get these ganks off. They're kind of later, though.
Oh, the Pola misses. What the fuck? Sidesteps it, almost locks him up in turret range as well. Trashy took one turret shot. That's going to be Vivivin backing off. No summoners last for What the Fox, but plenty of damage dealt. Oh, Dwalman actually having a much harder time with this matchup there. Smitty, despite dying twice in the lane, is finding ways to beat up Dwalman. No, he does not.
He doesn't.
No.
Nope. He just had it, the icon still lit up.
Should change that. It's really confusing when you see it still green. Like, wait a second. Yeah, Odwamna would have been like running for dear life with a flash if that was still up. I trust he knew that was down. Smitty knew it was down. All is well. Blue buff goes to What the Fox. These buffs have not been contested. Both teams have been very secure in their objective control on their own sides.
Yeah, it's the junglers. The junglers have not been overly aggressive or aggressive at all. I haven't really seen an invade for the most part because both these junglers would take advantage of the positioning, and they both have really good follow-up mid laners. So invading is kind of a no-no. And then all of the ganks they're trying are usually falling flat. Most of the ganks we're seeing, at least from H2K's side, are successful ones from the mid lane. There was one from Trashy in the top. But aside from that, they aren't really playing to their styles right now. It's kind of H2K is playing a little safer, which kind of makes Kickus not play his capitalization style.
And that's kind of the weird thing with H2K, though, is they had crushed the top lane so much early on. And again, props to Smitty for turning this lane around despite giving up 2 kills.
Nope, nothing in there.
Kind of.
Nothing to sweep in that bush.
Those are such common pink ward brushes, too. But yeah, but the thing is, I'm very surprised that H2K haven't made moves on the top side of the map more often, because Odwamna was ostensibly winning that matchup, because Smitty had to play defensive for so long, because Gragas could keep shoving the lane in, but they never went for a red buff invade, they never went for moves over there. And it's just surprising to me.
Yeah. Like, a lot of the jungle movement's been very stiff, very just reserved on our sides. Nobody's going on to the other side. Kickus just took a raid, and that's about the most action we've seen from the junglers.
Again, damage on We Will Failure, half HP. Zaitan gonna get hooked in, goes through a box. Well, no, has to flash away from that one. Burns an ignite for it, though. Finally, the pink ward defensively in the bot lane goes down.
Go top. The 3-man gank on Smitty.
Smitty gonna get rooted up in place. Slows come down as well. Lands a 2-man stun, but he's gonna go anywhere. He was Trashy as well, and Odwamna finds another kill.
But down bottom, it's the return gank.
And Hjarnen's got almost nowhere to go. The Lantern a little bit far ahead of him. Not quite in range for that one, and it's gonna be the kill picked up again securely, so crossmap moves frequently now.
Oh, What the Fox, he's going for We Will Failure right now. He's got the flash.
Rune Prison bounces in, and there we go. Nice solo kill.
And everybody on SKP's side is on this bottom turret. Meanwhile, H2K, they're just going to go top.
And that's going to be 2 turrets taken for that one. SKP actually didn't get a single turret yet. Looks like they'll get it on this wave here, but really, even though you're getting more kills on SKP's side, you're getting more gold and more map pressure from H2K.
Yeah, the gold is just a little bit ahead. because they did get one extra kill on SKP's side, H2K's extra turret.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close. But, man, Smitty is pretty shut down in that top lane. They're shutting down his most played Riven. He's actually the easiest person to take advantage of, too. They've been playing that one pretty well.
Yeah, they have. I'm just still impressed that Smitty has looked pretty good at the one-on-ones anyway.
Yeah.
That's the really impressive thing to me is you know, how far down do you have to keep Smitty to make him not crush Odwamna? Because it was looking decent when he was 0-2. What if he doesn't get camped? Like, how bad is his matchup? He's down 1,300 gold, and it doesn't... Last time we checked, it didn't seem to matter.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way. He just pushed Odwamna out of lane when we saw him before. Yeah. And then Odwamna needed the help. But it does, like I said at the start of the game, though, Gragas is one of those champions that if he gets put behind, he feels like he's behind. He's not one of those comeback kings.
Yeah. But he's not behind. He is
oh, yeah.
plenty scary there.
They set him up for a reason.
And look how big Febiven is as well. Athene's Zhonya's both already done at 18 minutes. Is an incredibly fast clip right here.
This mid lane turret being sieged down. Dragon is up in 8 seconds. And that's the next move for SKP. They have TP in the top lane.
Both of them do, and so you got to watch this matchup between Odwamna and Smitty right here. Ward comes down, and looks like SKP sweep that away, and there they go for the Dragon attempt. Looks like we do have Trashy around. He could flash over, take a lantern out if he wants to go for the steal. There's the ward. Too low on health. Picked up by Rise. Ulti comes in, and this is going to be the chase in. Zaitan Aziz trying for it. TP comes in for Odwamna on top of the enemy team, and he is going to be right there. Here's the rest of the team. Trashy up in the mix, and a big burst of AoE comes down. 2 kills so far. H2K getting routed right now, and here goes Smitty chasing down Febiven. Ghost used, runs away. He's going to stay safe, but 3 kills. H2K limped into that fight.
And SKP get a dragon off of it, too. They now have about a 3,000 gold lead, and Yarnan had nothing to say about that. It was essentially a 4-on-5.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful play right here. I'm very confused by H2K. They seem so lax in this game. They lost dragon control despite having TP up the entire game. But things like this happen.
It's funny because Phaler, he doesn't have his flash up until right after he dies. It's so close to being back up. It now comes up. And the TP in, Odwamna gets there early, but all Kog'Maw's doing is throwing living artilleries. He doesn't get his auto attacks off at all.
Yep.
And the way that the target priority went for SKP was perfect. Also, Febiven had to wrap around the back, and there wasn't really a priority target on that side where he came up. Everybody's just kind of grouped, and it was like, all right, let's zone him now.
And that's kind of the problem with H2K as well, is that, oh, this is going to be tricky. Yeah, he's got nowhere to go. This is going to be pretty rough for Riven. Wait, what? Are you? No.
Febiven has the sidetrack. He's going to have to wait for the... Oh.
Okay. Hey, man. For that ward, there's a chance he gets away.
Yeah. There's the ward from his inventory, too, because it wasn't a trinket ward.
Nope.
Had to spend that one.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's worth it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it. You got a big refund on that ward. Plus 225 some odd gold.
And another 150 for the teammate.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing with H2K. So yeah, Kog'Maw needs a real front line. Like, he can't really easily self-peel against things like Jarvan and Ryze. And when you're cut off like that, you know, and like Yarnan did the right thing, right? He did as much damage as he could from as far away as possible because he knew it was a dangerous position. But the rest of H2K decided they wanted to fight a battle where their support got caught and was going to die. It was a very strange choice by the team. Kick his flash, ulti finds Febiven. This is not a good place to be. Zaitan kind of around. Ezreal does hit as well. The knockback from Gragas, but still nowhere to go for TF and Zaze. Actually going to pick up Z's, rather going to pick up the kill there. Odwamna going to get stunned up as well. Ulti again. Glacial Fissure from Braum, and a second kill comes through. SK Prime keep finding good battles.
And might go for Baron right now. Off of that fight, they just got 2 large members off H2K. No teleporter on Odwamna. Febiven, by the time he comes up, the Baron might already be down, and I don't think he'll be in range for his Destiny Gate. Can Trashy steal this, or can they even contest this? But the pink ward coverage from SKP all game has been phenomenal.
Yeah, well, Trashy has the ulti. He's going to pop.
They're going to see him.
He wants to jump in. Wards come down. Will they peel back? Nah, they're just going to pick up Baron Nashor, and Smitty just goes right in. Forces back Yarnan. Uses his flash for it, actually. Cog now no flash, despite having Thresh around. Again, H2K just don't seem to be on the same page here.
That big thing gets the flash from him. And man, H2K last time went 2-0 against SK Gaming Prime.
Yeah.
SKP, since picking up Kikis, have looked really good. He has been involved in the most kills aside from Zaitan. the support. But they kind of sacrificed Smitty in the top lane. He was the GOAT.
He was.
He's every kill that H2K has.
100% death participation for Smitty. It's a good score to have.
Yeah, you camp the top lane, though, and this bottom lane that was lane bully oriented is going to win.
And I gotta really commend the play of Z's and Zaitan here, and I also have to question, what about We Will Failure then? Like, so you have you have two stories here, right? And they're kind of competing. It's like, okay, yes, you picked up this Ezreal, trying to punish hyper carries. You get the Braum as well. There are very early picks there for these guys. SKP really invested in having this type of aggressive lane, and it paid off. On the other side, though, H2K pick up We Will Failure, thinking this will be an even better fit for a bot lane. A bot lane that was already pretty good with Voidal a while ago, with AOD more recently, and it's failing against a team that they 2-0'd last time.
Definitely a lot of things to question here between these two teams. Trashy looking for Smitty, though. Nope, not going to go for it. They're just going to collapse on Forbidden.
Ooh, good. Zonya's there, but can he stay alive? Nice Lantern. Yes, he can. Well played there. WTF getting hooked in. Burns the cleanse early on. Walks away from the box as well. That's still going to give them room over this turret. This will be going down. SKP. Burn down structures.
Flexing their muscles, too. This is really big, though. Because just coming into these matchups, you would think H2K, heavy favorites just in terms of individual skill and team fighting prowess. But man, SKP, they were winning lanes pretty much on their own. Kikis was not involved in this game until the team fights blew up. And by the time they did blow up, most lanes had an advantage aside from top. Like I said, is the only source of gold from kills for H2K. You camp Smitty. Smitty is like, all right, I'm going to play a little more defensive. If you keep camping me, boom, we got 4-0-1 Rise, 1-0-6 Z's, who carries the team regularly. These two rocks for the team are in good positions.
Yes, it really is. And I mean, you talked about the fact that Smitty was the only source of kill gold. Top lane is basically the only source of gold, period. 2 of their 3 turret kills, top lane as well. When they sent 4 guys up there practically, I guess it was 3 technically, but they sent 3 guys up there, go hard on the 0-3 Riven, get 2 turrets for it, and SK Prime is like, well, we still set up your bot lane, we still set up for Dragon, etc.
Yeah.
Like, that focus definitely is not working, and I gotta give grats to SK Prime for, as you mentioned, you know, they leave the goat out there, the sacrificial lamb, whatever you want to use.
It's like Jurassic Park.
Yeah. The T-Rexes came out, but the kids escaped.
Yep, and now they're getting a dragon.
Man, Jurassic Park all full of creatures that don't exist anymore.
Dragons once roamed the earth. You heard it here first.
Man, depends on the mythos you want to follow.
Yeah.
WTF is Rise, and he is crushing minions like they're champions. 4-0-1. Had a pretty similar record against minions and champions this game, so yeah, I think that one's going to work out.
Man, Trashy really hasn't been getting his build going at all. He got the Mad Red, sat on it. He's got the Bilgewater Cutlass, had no time to build it into a Blade of the Ruined King. There we go. Yeah. And he didn't go for the Yumu's Ghostblade. Instead, now he's going tanky to try and be frontline for the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing, is he had double longsword, and I was like, oh, is he going Brutalize? He's going like high CDR, like high burst assassin build. And he's going for kind of a different one, an extra slow, I suppose, in there for himself. But yeah, I've not seen the build pay off just yet, of course. Remember that SKP did ban Orianna in Champ Select, and you got to figure Ori Rengar is one of the scarier combos to face in League of Legends.
Oh, yeah.
Moving that at square one was, I think, a very good choice by SK Prime.
You want to talk about Forbidden's Orianna?
Yeah.
You can't let him have it.
No, you can't.
Basically all there is to say. Can't let Forbidden have Orianna or Yasuo.
That's true. He's good at those champions. We will fail there, waiting in the brush.
A little far up.
Yeah, he waited a long time for that one without teammates. I do not know what's happening there, but we will fail. This is not his game.
They just don't have the ward coverage all game long. And he's going to get killed under turret.
Well, they knock back WTF, so maybe he trades his life for that one, which is worth it in the case of the support right here. But the shield comes out, he stays alive. There's a TF ulti. Kog'Maw finally chases him down, but 3 kills already picked up. SK Prime just crushing another battle.
And going through this game, just thinking about wards, the pink wards from SKP and their ward coverage in the jungle has been phenomenal all game long. Their pink wards stay up so long. They're in the right positions, and they capitalize off of the positioning that they've created with this vision, and it kind of shut down Trashy's early game. He wasn't able to find any opportunities. They're going to crack the base, and they're going for an inhibitor now, too, off of all of this great play.
Well, right there, speaking of more great play, perfect time to disengage here as SK Prime. They're missing their mid laner. Their jungler's low. Respawns were coming. Say. all right, we'll back out. Flash Gold Card loses the game and loses map control. They get a bunch of kills, they get a bunch of global objectives, they can back right on out.
Lots of Fox. Great dodges there and sidesteps, and then he gets Yarnan locked up, and he's not even dead yet. He gets face of the mountain. Trashy doesn't have the DPS to deal with it, and it's an Acathian surprise that ends up getting the kill.
I like that Smitty still only has 1 assist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard as Riven, and he just goes and buys a Banshee's Veil. He realizes he's taking a bunch of magic damage, but honestly, even though 0-4-1 sounds dumb, I'm pretty impressed with the Riven play.
Yeah, he's only 20 CS down.
Right.
4 deaths. Basically, he lost 10 CS every time he died. More than H2K's Odwamna.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here, man, this is really exciting because SKP are very close to taking a game off of the Summer Series 1 first place team that only dropped 1 game, and 3 members who almost made it into the LCS off Cloud9 Eclipse.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing is H2K are basically the best team in Challenger. They won Spring 1. They won the Spring playoffs themselves, I believe, as well. They won Summer 1. They're obviously incredibly strong here. And SKP are like, guys, we're really fearsome showing up to this match. And what's good about this is that they've been playing a very strong aggressive game. It's so easy to see a game where you're like, man, our top laner's getting camped. He's 0-4. Oh man, we're screwed. But they keep making moves elsewhere across the map, right? Bot lane is winning. They know Trashy's somewhere else in the map. What the Fox took every Rengar gank this game except for 1 and got away from basically all of them. He only died in that last team fight where they got 3 kills and 2 turrets. So down the line, SKP are saying, yep, Smitty's getting camped. The rest of us will carry, and they are.
Yeah, and the fact that he brought Cleanse in the mid lane on Wata Fox got him out of a couple ganks where it would have spelt disaster. Also, the fact that he had Cleanse kind of dissuaded ganks on him mid from TF and Rengar, so they just kept focusing top, which gave objective control to the bot lane on Dragon. I'm actually almost positive that Smitty, even before that Baron, had more gold than Odwamna, just from global objectives.
It's a good chance of that one, honestly.
They were close in CS.
Yeah. And now Odwamna does not seem to be able to convert that early lane lead into much here. Top lane inhibitor going to take plenty of damage there. The attack slowly coming through from Ezreal. He's the guy hitting it for the most part. And down it goes. Inhibitor number 1 before 29.5 minutes. Baron, of course, already taken very cleanly by SK Prime. They just need minion wave to push down the next inhibitors.
Only 2 jokers in the deck, and I get dealt you.
Thanks, Febiven.
Man.
Still finds time to taunt.
I like how we just like, let's be quiet and listen to the...
I really like when commentary just stops and we get to hear the champions tell their side of the story. Because we're talking the entire time. Riven just goes, ha! A bunch. But what does she really believe when these games are going on?
Well, apparently, Bevan doesn't like his teammates because he's got a bunch of jokers on him now.
I gotta be careful.
2 jokers in the deck, and he gets 4.
Oh my gosh, here they go.
Here's
Trashy
Trashy.
gets completely exploded. 1 kill picked up already, and the battle continues. Smitty finally gets himself a kill on the scoreboard. Odwamna now gonna chase down great Rune Prison Pop Zonia's, but has pretty much nowhere to go. Kickass gets it with a flag toss, and Z's just walks on away with that one with Arcane Shift.
Oh, they're going for
done on a Febiven. He's not gonna be very happy. Good Zonia's pop, but that's a surrender in 30 minutes and 30 seconds. Congratulations, SK Prime, for a very well-played Game 1.
They just took a game off the team that was regarded as #1 through spring, through summer.
Yep.
This is looking like a great series here shaping up. SKP, great vision control. They didn't play H2K's game. Instead, they just focused on the lanes, sacrificed Smitty top. And honestly, I don't think I'd ever give MVP to somebody who's feeding, but damn, Smitty. That was really good. The fact that he didn't get so far behind in CS and he still held his own was phenomenal.
Absolutely.
That's like, he wasn't... a lot of the time when somebody gets camped, you're kind of like, oh, that's a crutch for the team, or that's somebody who's a big hindrance.
Yeah.
You know? It was like, he's kind of a
Wait,
boon.
you gotta carry him.
Exactly. He's a boon. It's like, they're just going to keep camping you, man. That's fine.
Pulling TF up out of the lane over and over again, tanked plenty of Rengar ganks, and okay, to be fair, the first Rengar ult did become a kill. And yeah, like, again, SKP did such a good job of making plays elsewhere. Perfect Dragon control, perfect Baron control, bot lane stayed ahead. They didn't play the standard sort of metagame AD carries. They adapted to the metagame, pick champions that would reach the back line, that would damage the back line, right? A lane that would win and punish the greedy late game choices, and they did so. That is a great choice by SK Prime. On the other side, though, I do have to ask, what exactly was going through H2K's mind? Just because Odomna specifically did not one time TP back to his lane, he always walked back to keep his ulti available, said if, or his flash, or his teleport available, and said if there's a play to be made bot lane, there's a dragon, I'm there. Never that entire game did he teleport into a good fight. And that's an issue, where he's making the choice to sacrifice lane pressure to not do anything.
Yeah. It was a very strange, uncharacteristic game from a lot of H2K.
Yeah.
Usually you see them just win the lane flat out. Like we've seen Fibivin 2v1 and come out with like 1.5 kills pretty much and be like, oh, actually he killed both at one time.
Yeah.
Just very, very sound, great player. But we didn't see a lot of that this game from all of H2K. Trashy especially, because usually he's a big facilitator of his team, and I'm actually a big fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw none of that this game. It was the warding of SKP that kept him down. We saw Kikis didn't really invade and bully him around. He's like, I'm going to place a ward here and wait for you to walk by, and then we're just not going to give you anything.
Yeah.
He ended the game with 4K less gold than Kikis, only 1.8K gold more than We Will Failer. And everybody else on his team, he's 3K gold behind on Trashy. Trashy was pretty much shut down because he wasn't allowed to do anything.
Yeah. He tried so heavily to facilitate the mid lane.
Yeah.
He tried time and again, and every single time, What the Fox found a way to outplay it. There was a missed bola, there was the cleanse escape, there was the flash escape. It was just completely great by What the Fox. Got away from the Rengar ganks, and you can blame some on Trashy. There was a missed skill shot. You can say What the Fox was great, but combined, an ineffective jungle. So that was really an impressive game by SKP. Now, guys, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have Game 2 between SK Gaming Prime and H2K Gaming, with a spot in the finals on the line. Don't go anywhere. Here's the rest of the team. Trashy up in the mix, and a big burst of AoE comes down. 2 kills so far. H2K getting routed right now with a knockback What the Fox. So maybe he trades his life for that one, which is worth it in the case of the support right here. But the shield coming down. He stays alive. There's a TF ulti. Cog finally chases him down. Oh my gosh, here they go. Trashy gets completely exploded. 1 kill picked up already, and the battle continues. Smitty finally gets himself a kill on the scoreboard. Odomna now getting chased down. Great rune prison pop Zonius, but has pretty much nowhere to go.